Hello, and welcome to Gigguk versus DIGIBRO. I'm your host, Callum May. I run the Canipa Effect, but I have no stakes in this because we've got two fighters out there. This is 45 minutes of Crunchyroll-approved violence. Please welcome DIGIBRO and Gigguk.
Yeah.
You actually got them.
Of course.
So, you've had some fighting words before. I'm not sure how many people have seen your infamous rant.
Raise your hand if you've seen a video called "Just Shit-Talking Anime YouTubers for Half an Hour. Oh God, what have I done?"
Now, who's seen a video called "Don't Be Like DIGIBRO"?
Woo! Why have more people seen that than the original?
So, do either of you have any words to
Yes.
take
When
back
you
from that?
watched the Gigguk video, having not seen mine, did you have any idea what he was talking about? Nah, you don't have to answer that.
Should we get some like hands? Who here is rooting for DIGIBRO?
Boo! Boo!
And Gigguk?
This is a slaughterhouse.
It says like 40 minutes on the clock, but I feel like we can wrap it up.
What's our first debate?
What is your first debate? Well,
You're the manager.
I
Tell us.
It was rhetorical. I was about to answer my own question. So, one of your main problems with Gigguk's videos, you were talking about the Konosuba one, or?
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
His video about Konosuba, which was boring.
Yeah. Although
I would like to say that Digi also made a video about Konosuba, and it was equally as boring
No!
and short.
Mine was cool and had interesting things to say. I was analytical. I was a smart boy. Everyone liked it. It's one of my biggest videos.
No, in that video you just said, I like Konosuba because it was funny, and it was
No! No, I didn't.
That was basically it.
My point about Konosuba was the way that the jokes evolve over each episode. That, like, there's something that seems like a one-off joke, and then in the next episode they expand on it, and it keeps going and going, and like, you know, one episode there's a joke about how the characters get eaten, but it's really weird hearing the echo of my voice in this room, by the way. It's like freaking me out. One episode there'll be a joke about the girls getting eaten by a giant frog and they're all slimy, and Megumin says that the main guy, Kazuma, right? Kazuma, she's like, oh, you tortured us somehow. Like, he makes these other people think that he's abused them sexually. And then in the next episode, Darkness shows up and she's like, oh, I heard you abuse people sexually. That's my thing. And she wants in. And so, like, the way it keeps expanding on the joke is really interesting and not something I've seen a lot of. That was my point. If you paid attention, you'd know that, Gigguk.
Well, like, with Konosuba, and especially the way you broke down some of the jokes in Konosuba, I'd argue, in terms of some of the writing and the comedy, that, you know, some abridged series are written better than the comedy in Konosuba.
Now, I've seen a few abridged series.
have you seen one called Ava Bridged? It's quite popular.
Which one?
Ava Bridged.
I have not seen Ava abridged.
Oh.
I remember I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged back in the day. That's about it. Personally, I find abridged series obnoxious and terrible.
Would you like to expand on why?
I think it's mostly because it's, I mean, okay, first of all, I don't even like anime dubs. I find most dubs to be performed by the same, like, 10 actors who I don't think are that good, who are, you know, they work because they don't have to get paid that much.
We're just following a anime voice acting presentation.
Well, I don't know if you guys were here for that one. Hopefully you were like, oh, like, hopefully you sat through that one so you could get to this one. Not that there was like a need. This isn't very full, but thing is that dub voice actors, there's just a very small industry. There's not enough competition. I don't feel like there's enough hyper-talented people, you know, because I feel like dubbing, there's just not that much money involved in it. You know, the studios are trying to do it on the cheap, like guys like Funimation or whatever, who is partnered with Crunchyroll, so they're great. Everybody, round of applause for Funimation. No, you know, Funimation has a very small stable of actors, and I don't feel like there's a huge amount of competition to. They're not bringing in new people. Like, there's probably better actors who could do it, but they're like, we've got our guys. They work. We sell enough Blu-rays. We'll keep the same people for 20 fucking years, and. I feel like with a bridge series, it's like a microcosm of that even less talented, smaller pool of actors who are trying to become famous on YouTube, who just aren't that funny. They just can't deliver lines in a funny way. And like I know there's lots of abridged series that are praised for their writing and stuff. Like SAO Abridged is a big one that everybody always recommends to me because I hate SAO, and apparently it's a better version of the show. I hear the voice acting and the constant mic popping from people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I go, no, I can't watch that one.
Well, this is coming just after the news that Team 4-Star are actually going to be dubbing their first official anime, and this is a group who, you know, rose to fame through Dragon Ball Z Abridged, through a freaking parody dub of everything.
Are you trying to say that you're on the level of Team 4-Star?
I am not trying to say that.
Trying to say that Ava Abridged deserves mention in the same breath?
Well, Ava Abridged is, I think, like close to 5 years old now. So, but I still think Ava Abridged is still pretty good in terms of the writing.
If I were to listen to it right now, because I've never seen it, how many headset microphones am I going to hear?
None.
None?
None? You might hear a few
How many Blue Yetis am I going to hear?
Yetis, but that's just
Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't even try to send Canipa's videos to people. They're like, the audio quality. I can't do it.
I am not in this debate. You stick everything on him, not me.
Use that $100 Crunchyroll gave you and put it towards an AT4040 and a sound system, please. I know you got $100 for being a guest. It should have been a me versus him panel.
Let's continue the debate.
This isn't DigiBro versus Gigguk. This is just DigiBro versus the world, as it always has been. By the way,
as it always has been.
Should I move my chair over here? It's like it's not a tag team.
Yeah, I'll take you both.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for you, Digi. So yeah, like I just said, you've pissed a lot of people off.
Everyone.
Right?
Probably. Not everyone.
Most people.
Most people.
Now, for those of you who have seen that rant video, do you still go by your words that you ended that video on? Which is, I don't know what the exact quote is.
Something like, I think it was, if you don't think I'm the best, fuck you.
I'm the greatest anime YouTuber of all time, and if you don't agree with me, fuck you.
I probably said that. That's true. How are you going to argue against that? Okay, so the thing is, the problem with Gigguk is he doesn't know enough about anime. He makes very good... well, see, Gigguk makes content that is geared towards a broad audience. It's meant for mass appeal, and lots of people can enjoy it, which most people don't know that much about anime. So if you want to appeal to the mass market, you can't just like constantly be hitting them with like super high-level fucking stuff.
This coming from the person who made his career shitting on SAO and Asterisk Wars, mind
Not
you.
intentionally. I can't help what the public loves. When I made the SAO video, I didn't know it was that popular. I didn't know it was going to do that.
Of course.
No, I really didn't. I didn't know it was going to be that big a deal. But like on the other side of the spectrum, you've got Callum here, who makes very detailed videos that are so in-depth, most people don't even care about the stuff he's talking about. I strike this middle ground where I can appeal to the masses by talking about something like SAO, but also can be more in-depth than someone like Gigguk because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So.
Well, I would argue that simply just knowing a lot of knowledge isn't everything about making engaging and engaging content, because as a personal anecdote, not to bring you this into the...
I was brought here
They put him on the
specifically as a
stage.
host.
He's in. How many of you have heard of the Canipa Effect? Hey, that's who he is.
Exactly.
Actually,
He's good. If any of you haven't, you should check him out. He's good.
But yeah,
In spite of all the ragging on him I'm about to do.
This is the most bizarre relationship where he will constantly recommend my channel to absolutely everyone and then shit talk me the next second.
Deservedly so.
But to get back on what I was saying, in my opinion, just knowing a lot of facts and a lot of names behind the industry doesn't make for engaging content, which is something that Digi prides himself on. Now, the anecdote I'd use for this is, with my own content, is learning about Yutaka Nakamura, for example. Okay, so
I like
for
how
me,
he's always our go-to.
sorry.
He's always our go-to.
He's such the easiest go-to.
Well,
He
he's
is
a
the
perfect
easiest
middleman.
go-to.
How many of you have heard of Yutaka Nakamura? That's like a few people, which is better than most animators. He's a very famous animator, probably the most famous animator.
If you don't know him, you've seen his work.
You've definitely seen, he animated the biggest fight scenes from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. What's another famous show?
Todoroki versus Deku from My Hero Academia, that big, huge fight.
Yeah.
Yutaka Nakamura.
Yeah, so Yutaka Nakamura has a few tales about the cuts that he makes, one of them being Utapon cubes, which I'm sure you both are aware of Utapon cubes. Now, when I learned about Utapon cubes, I have never been able to enjoy Yutaka Nakamura cuts ever since I learned that fact. And that was simply because every time I see a fight by him, I see the Utapon cubes, like the Deku versus Todoroki
The Utapon
fight.
cubes, what he's describing, if you've seen that fight they're talking about, it's where like a piece of land gets destroyed and it's in like a very geometric way, like a bunch of shapes explode out. It's done like
A
Space
bunch of
Dandy
cubes,
episode 1.
geometric. it's called cubes because it's.
Well, they're not all cubes. They're
Oblongs.
It's a metaphor.
Oblong shapes. But I remember I was totally engrossed in that fight, and then I saw the Utapon cubes, and instead of being immersed in the fight, my first thought was, huh, that's Utapon cubes.
I
I'm actually
completely
gonna
agree
have
with
to
you. Like, this would be better for a
change
debate with him.
sides. I think that.
No, don't change sides too quick, because I'm somewhat.
Oh,
no,
do you want to go over that side?
Well,
now?
I'm a big fan of Yutaka. He's my favorite animator.
Yeah.
For obvious, the guy is animated. If any of you have seen the movie Sword of the Stranger, he did the entire final battle from that movie, which is the greatest fight in anime history. And yeah, his animation's fucking incredible in that fight. But I do feel sometimes when I see Utapon cubes what he's describing, like that feeling of, oh, there's the thing, you know, and it can be a little, it can take you out a little bit, especially if it's, sometimes it's not super impressive, because I almost feel like Utapon cubes is a cost-saving technique.
I would not say that. I think it's a stylistic choice
Sure,
throughout.
but
And
it's just so,
it's something so.
it's like, oh, if I'm going to make something explode, why not have it be a bunch of geometric shapes? Because that's
I think that's
easier.
a lot harder than you're making out.
You think?
Yeah, I also think that I agree that it can take you out of it a bit, but I also think that being able to apply another level of learning to it and being able to feel like, oh, I'm know the sort of person that has animated this. I think that
is
like
cool too.
Studying film whilst watching
I'm a
films.
huge fan of director Hiroyuki Imaishi, who, if you guys don't know who that is, he directed Gurren Lagann, Kill La Kill, Panty & Stocking with Garter Belt, and like the fact that it's him does add something for me, where I go. Because I know they're all coming from the same place, it's almost like when I watch another show by him, I think, oh man, this is the guy who made Panty & Stocking. I know what he's about, you know, so I can kind of get a little bit more into it, which is why I do think there's some value in talking about creators, which is, I assume, the debate we're trying to have here. Raise your hand if this is too detailed and you just want us to throw shit at each other and the anime YouTube, anime trauma. A few people.
Tournament talk! That's what they're here for. But no, to get back what I'm saying, like, in terms of the amount of detail you put in content, it's not always, just knowing things doesn't make it engaging and doesn't make it good content.
I agree.
I also agree.
So what
But my
puts your
content's
content,
really engaging in spite of that.
so what puts your content further beyond than what I just said then?
Well, what's so great about the stuff I do is simply, it's not just about knowing a lot of stuff. It's putting it into a context that people easily appreciate. Like, there's lots of people who make videos that just kind of explore a creator's work without really telling you why you should care.
I do more than just list facts. I just want to make it clear that I try and introduce concepts.
This is secretly the Everybody versus Canipa panel. But
back in the middle now.
I think there's there is a danger, I think, that you're describing of like talking about a creator and not making the audience care enough. I think this is a problem that happens a lot in the underground anime community. People who don't blow up big, it's because they don't know how to relate the content to the audience in a way that they'll understand and appreciate. There's a lot of people who are in the Sakuga community, and you're one of the best people in this because you're a fairly big YouTuber.
This is the exact same thing. Like shit talk one moment, then yeah, but you're amazing.
But you've got like 60K subs, I want to say.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people who are doing even more detailed work about Sakuga who have like 1,000 people reading them, and it's because they haven't figured out how to engage the audience. All they want to do is talk about what's good about
I do actually
Sakuga,
agree with that. Yeah, I think.
And they're not like trying to they're so mad at people for not already knowing this stuff that they're not trying to explain it to people. And I'm out there going like, hey, you like My Hero Academia? Let me slowly suck you into this other world you didn't know about, which benefits me because once you know everything about anime, you can't watch people like Gigguk anymore because you're like, I know too much.
Yeah.
I can't sit through his content. I have to watch deeper stuff. And then you become my patron and I steal his money and his soul.
Because I think the biggest... I still enjoy watching anime.
I do too.
I still enjoy watching anime.
I still enjoy watching anime. I enjoyed the first 3 episodes of Made in Abyss this season, and then it went downhill, and now I don't like anything anymore.
I think what Gunn's trying to say is that there's more than just one way to enjoy anime.
Yeah, you want to form that like an argument we can have?
Well, you were going on about, oh, I'm too smart to watch Gigguk now. Are you calling the many Gigguk fans within this audience just dumbasses?
No.
I'm trying to get this
I think you did do that. I think you did do that.
I think there's always it's the same as when you get into anime, you get in through DBZ, Naruto, etc. Then you start watching the deeper stuff, and you can no longer handle DBZ, Naruto, etc. I'm saying that
totally
Gigguk is the Naruto of anime YouTubers. You get in through Gigguk, then you find me, and you can't go back.
You are literally using the too deep for you argument.
I am
You are literally
too deep for
using that
you
fucking argument.
I think there's, I mean, I don't think it's unvaluable to be that, though. Like, I like Naruto. You know, I don't watch it anymore. When I was 12, Naruto was my favorite manga, and I'm not saying that as an insult. Everybody's
That really
12.
sounds like an insult.
Being 12 is not a
Everything
bad
you say
thing.
is an insult.
There's nothing wrong with being 12. You can't help it. Everybody has to be 12. And when you're 12, you're not going to watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes. You're going to watch fucking Naruto.
I think the problem with your content, and maybe it's a problem with you as a person, is that everything you say sounds so condescending.
You really, like, you do seem to, like...
I don't even try to be condescending. I tell people I'm not a snob. I'm like, no, everybody can have the opinions they
amazing,
want.
'cause
They're
you-
just dumb. Like,
You keep going on, like, you call yourself like a bastion of subjectivity, but whenever you talk to anyone else, it really seems like
well, okay.
you're talking down to everyone, the world's below you.
I believe that everybody can think whatever they want about every show they watch. It's just that there's definitely things that you can almost scientifically applied to a large audience, there might be like a really deep reason you like Naruto. You know, it's possible. Like, the reason I always say it's okay to be a big fan of Sword Art Online, like, even though I hate the show and I think it's the worst thing ever made, it's okay to like it because there might be some deep reason you like it. Maybe Asuna looks like your mom, and like, your mom died when you were 15, and every time you see her, you remember your mom, and it makes you feel really happy, and then you see her get like tentacle raped, and you're like, okay, well, I don't like the second half of Sword Art Online, but the first half was great. And so like, there are deeper reasons to like it, or even if you're 12, you know, if you're 12, I don't expect you to like something good, but like, that's not to say that it is objectively better.
That's exactly what you just described, because you're saying that, for example, that Sword Art Online is objectively bad, but you might like it for some reason that's beyond my understanding.
I think every reason everyone likes something is stupid.
Or like
my favorite anime is K-On!
I like Eromanga-sensei.
Do you actually like it?
Yes! Yes!
I never watched your video on it. Do you actually like it?
I unironically like it.
How? And why?
I actually do like it as well.
What? Why?
Yes!
What's wrong with you?
Yes!
Back on this side.
Y'all got problems. Why do you like Eromanga-sensei?
Eromanga-sensei is the
I had
ultimate...
a whole like deep thing I was gonna say, and I forgot it because I'm so offended.
Eromanga-sensei is the ultimate guilty pleasure anime.
I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I don't
you?
believe in feeling guilt about things you like. One of my favorite anime is Garzy's Wing. It's one of the worst anime ever made.
That's not a guilty pleasure.
It's so good.
That's not... Yeah, it's because it is good. Because it's hilarious. Like The Room, for example.
Why do you feel guilty about liking Eromanga-sensei?
Because it's utter trash.
But why
I
are you
can't
guilty?
call it anything but absolute trash. Because it is.
What do you like about it then?
Because it's so unashamed at how trashy it is.
Well, then it's good. It's good because it's unashamed. You can't say you're ashamed of it being good. You want more anime to be unashamed about their trashiness. Like, I like shows that are like that. You ever seen Seikon no Quasar? Quasar of Stigmata? One of my favorite shows because it doesn't give a single shit that it is pornography. Like, it's violent, insanely violent pornography for literal 10-year-olds, and it's awesome. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Would you recommend that to people?
Yes. Not if you like porn. If you don't like pornography, if you're like, oh, that show has fan service, I won't watch it. Don't watch Seiko no Quasar. But everybody's got different tastes. Some people like if how you would describe your favorite anime is it has the most titties, watch Quasar. If how you would describe your favorite anime is it's a deep intellectual study on the human condition, don't watch Quasar.
But my argument is that, like, Eromanga-sensei, especially in recent times, there's been few anime that have, like, captured so many people who end up liking it even though they feel like they shouldn't like it. Like, because
they shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. We know we shouldn't like it, but we do, you know?
Why is that not a problem? Like, that, what I see it as is you're allowing this show that is made as lazily as possible.
Okay, we won't
lazily
be,
as
we won't be
possible.
accepting the word lazy. A lot of people worked really hard on it.
Yeah, one guy worked really hard on making a little girl show her panties as much as humanly possible so people would buy the Blu-rays.
Is that lazy, or is that just pandering?
You know what? I think Eromanga, like, I appreciate that guy's passion. Like, I'm not a fan of the show, but I love that guy. The guy who animated every disgusting panty shot of that 12-year-old girl.
I should point out, that guy is named Keisuke Kobayashi.
This is what you get if you watch the Canipa Effect.
Yeah.
But if you watch me, it's that guy. If you watch him, it's a detailed...
It's informed.
Yeah. That's why I like your channel.
Thank you very much. I might just go like. I'll go back into the middle now.
There's a narrative arc. There's a narrative arc to this panel, and it's Canipa's
basically
side.
a chair movement. I asked them specifically to put the chairs like this so that I could keep moving around.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's it. Like, I could admire how passionate Eromanga-sensei, like the people who worked in Eromanga-sensei were for just making the trashiest show possible.
I think that guy was passionate about making his cuts. Like, I think they told this dude, like, hey, we're making the worst show of all time.
Do you know the light novels go even further than the anime?
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there are things I like about Eromanga-sensei. I like...
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I like that he actually fucks his sister. Because I am way into that, and not enough anime do that. So, like, the fact that but he doesn't do it in the anime, so the anime can go fuck itself. But, like, the fact that he even wants to is really cool. But the show just doesn't deliver. And, like, I think that, yeah, it's cool that this dude has so much passion for drawing a 12-year-old's genitals. I can totally respect that, and I'm not joking.
Someone please just clip this entire segment and just post it out of context.
Yeah. But like, I think that while that guy's work is great, I see it as the reason this show exists is a bunch of corporate heads sit down and they say, Ore-imo was a really popular show. I bet we can make a lot of money off of those stupid fucking weeaboos if we make another one. But we don't even have to put half the effort into it. Because while Ore no Imoto was actually well made,
I like Toriyama as well.
Not saying it's a great show, but it was well made.
It is a good show. It
had passion put into it. It had some intrigue to it. This is just riding the coattails of Ore-imo.
No, Eromanga-sensei is what happens when, if you want to call it the executives, they looked at Ore-imo and they said, how can we take this a level beyond? And they did.
But it's a level beyond in terms of, like, now the brother really wants to fuck his sister. But, like, the actual animation and production and everything of it, I feel like is so just lazy in comparison. Like, they didn't put the effort into this that they did into Ore-imo. They didn't try to... Ore-imo was like, we really care about this trash. We're going to make it as good as it can be, and the people who like this will feel like they got their money's worth. And like Eromanga is like, hey, buy the Blu-rays if you want to see the full shot of the tits.
This isn't how anime production works. People don't go to work and say, actually, this is trash, so I'm only going to put a bit of effort in it whilst I get paid badly for
they don't
this
have to
job
say
that
this
I
is
love.
trash. I think... You think the people who make Eromanga-sensei love what they do?
I think
that one guy does.
You couldn't love what you do if Eromanga-sensei wasn't as good as it was.
What your video taught me, Canipa here made a video for Crunchyroll explaining how this one animator did. He was assigned as the, what's her name, the character?
The Sagiri animator.
The Sagiri animator. He was supposed to do all of her best shots. And like, yeah, that guy, passionate. But they got one guy. If you look at any other shot in the entire show, it looks like fucking shit. It is the ugliest show I've ever seen aside from his cuts. Because they didn't put another animator on there. They put one guy. They could have put as many animators as they wanted. The show made tons of money. They could have put 1,000. Like, think about a show that makes nothing. Made in Abyss is not a very popular show this season. It's rising a little bit, but I doubt it's going to sell nearly what Eromanga-sensei did, and it has way the fuck more animators on it. They could have put that on it, but they didn't.
Having more animators doesn't necessarily mean better animation. If anything,
better animators.
Having more animators.
Have you seen Made in Abyss? I know you have.
Seen Made in Abyss.
It looks incredible.
Made in Abyss is amazing, by the way. Go watch it.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes are incredible, and then it becomes.
It still is. What don't you like about Made in Abyss?
It just got really slow, and the animation fell apart. It's not as good. It's just not as good.
How is it slow? How is it slow?
It's real fucking. They're adapting like 1 chapter an episode, and like. It's.
I'd argue that it's keeping the same pace, but there's no way that they're going to adapt everything they can adapt in 12 episodes. That's my biggest problem.
You know what
with
I
Made in
think is
Abyss.
happening with Made in Abyss?
What?
I think they're afraid to get into the edgy stuff. And so they're trying to string out the early part of the manga as far as they can, finish the show before they, because Made in Abyss is famous for the fact that the manga gets really edgy later. I think they don't want to adapt that. They're trying to make the anime more accessible to all audiences, and they're going to cut it off at episode 12. We'll never get an ending, and it's going to fucking suck.
I completely disagree with you, because you called it edgy. I haven't read the manga, but I heard it gets dark, if that's what you want to call it.
That's
but,
what I mean. I'm
well,
using meme
they
speak.
foreshadowed it. They're foreshadowing it.
Yeah, but the anime is also toned it down a lot from the manga.
It's not like if it gets dark, you'll be like, whoa, this is a complete change in tone. Because even though there are lighthearted moments, they are definitely foreshadowing.
Well, there's going to be a really easy way to find out who's right. We just got to wait about 4 more weeks to see what happens.
Well, I'd argue, we could wait 4 more weeks, but I'd argue that even if they did cut it off before the dark bit, they didn't have enough episodes to work with originally to make
They could have maximized the time better. The people who've read the manga who are commenting on my videos are telling me, like, they could have easily had 2 chapters an episode, and they're going for 1, and it's been real slow the last
Have you
few
read the
episodes.
manga?
I haven't. I've only heard hearsay.
So you're speaking on,
the last 2 episodes sucked. That's all I have to say.
I completely disagree with you, and I think the pacing is.
It felt like
right on point.
Naruto. It felt like I was watching.
How did it feel like Naruto?
There's like they have this big fight with like action lines now. Like, early episode, he's nodding in agreement. He knows. The Sakuga guy back here knows. Episode 1 was like all these beautiful shots of like characters running like, I gotta escape from the background. They're stumbling over themselves, and then you get to episode 7, and it's like jump and then like action lines behind them. It's like the animation's nothing like it was. It loses a lot of the impact because of that. Because episode 1 felt terrifying. Episode 7, which is supposed to be terrifying, didn't.
Well, I'd argue that
I don't know if the camera kept up with me when
one of the strengths of Made in Abyss wasn't the animation to begin with. It was like the
animation was the biggest strength of the show.
I'd argue it was
backgrounds too.
I'd argue it was the art.
Yeah.
I'd argue it was not the animation. It was the art,
episodes.
which is 2 different things.
I think the art's gone downhill too.
I would.
Last 2 episodes, they were in a fucking log cabin.
You think the art's gone downhill?
They were in like 1 location for 2 whole episodes. Episode 1, you've got them going all the way through all these beautiful landscapes. It looks like an RPG. If you haven't seen this show, seriously, even if the show turns out to be garbage, watch the first 3 episodes because they're beautiful. It looks like a Valkyrie profile or something. Like it's just this beautiful fucking. That's not good. That's not a good recommendation. An obscure PS1 game.
How I describe
Both of which Komatsuo worked on. Did you? No, the guy, Yoshinari, Ko Yoshinari worked on.
Oh yeah, Ko Yoshinari.
Why did I say Matsuo?
I don't know.
I'm drunk.
How I describe it, it's like that first scene in, if any of you have played Breath of the Wild, when you go out of the temple and you just.
Good comparison.
Yeah, and you just see the entire landscape, and that's the exact feeling you get from watching Made in Abyss.
Much more relevant comparison. This is why you pull the. This is why he has 800,000
This is why I make better
subscribers,
content.
and I have 300,000 subscribers. Because he knows what people like.
But yeah, that's the comparison I'd bring it to, and maybe the animation is not as good as it was in the first episode, but I think the art is still just as good. And
let's move on to another debate. We've been talking about this for 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've got 12 minutes left.
What do you have for us?
I don't know. What do I have?
We haven't even got to the questions we planned before.
Yeah. Should we go to the audience?
So we don't really have any setup area for.
Someone scream what you want us to debate about.
Don't scream.
I didn't understand that.
Someone raise your arm and I'll point at you. Yeah, first row.
Well, that defeats the meme of this whole panel. See, what he was saying is he subscribes to us for different reasons because we're very different content. Like, pointing that out destroys the entire facade of what this panel is. Like, the joke is that we hate each other, when the reality is we spent the last 3.5 hours drinking in a bar down there and being best pals. So, like, you're completely ruining the entire idea of this panel by talking about that.
It was awful. Like, I was walking around trying to, like, see how I'm going to get these two riled up at each other. And then I walk into the bar and you two are just having a nice drink together.
Looking like we're longtime friends.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's a ruse. I hate DigiBro.
Yeah, no, we will kill each other on this stage. This won't end until blood has been shed, or until that timer that I'm looking at runs out. Anybody have another question? Raise your hand and try to yell so everybody can hear you. That guy. What? You're not even the guy who I pointed at.
No,
You who thought you were being pointed at.
Well,
Who's best what? JoJo? Who's the best JoJo?
Joseph. Young.
I haven't
Have you seen JoJo? I already win this debate by default now.
I've seen some JoJo. I don't have a. Do you mean best JoJo character or best JoJo himself? Because that's the thing is, everyone tells me that Joseph is best JoJo, so I just believe it. Like, I haven't seen his arc, but I believe that he's the best because everyone says so. So I would have answered the same thing.
Do you know what that means? If someone makes a JoJo reference, he won't get it.
I know about the yare yare daze. I know the yer yer days. Okay.
But someone did bring up a point. God fucking damn it, did you? Okay, so your name. Which
Your name.
Someone brought up. What do you think of it?
It's a good movie.
Oh,
Was it a good movie?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
do you also like it?
It's his favorite anime of all time.
It's
Oh,
one of my
shit, yeah.
favorite anime of all time.
So you both like something. Do you want to hug it out?
Betrayal!
Top 10 anime betrayals.
We were so close.
No, it was a good
Anyone
movie.
else have a question?
I'm okay with that movie.
Pink hats?
A silent voice. I haven't seen
He
it.
hasn't seen a silent voice either.
I haven't. It's new. I haven't gotten around to it.
It's been out for months.
I downloaded it at some point and then I toured the country. I haven't had time to see it.
Self-proclaimed anime guru, everyone.
It's from one of my
Hasn't seen
favorite directors
JoJo's
too.
or a
so-
silent voice.
Same director as K-On!, the greatest anime ever made. Hands? You. Evangelion? 3.0? 3.0 was fucking horrible. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it? That's the worst movie I've ever seen. What'd you like about it? I'm like legit curious. This isn't even a meme. I just want to know why he likes that movie.
I liked 3.0 because it made Ava feel like Ava again.
No! What about that? You didn't even like the original show. What the fuck do you know about Evangelion?
I actually did like the original show, but it's because when I watched Ava 2.0, that was at the point when I fucking hated Shinji Ikari, right? This is when I still hated the original show. I hated Shinji Ikari, and Ava 2.0 was everything that I ever wanted in an Ava.
Yeah, because it's a completely different story that is not even relatable to the
Exactly.
original.
It's what I thought I wanted. And then what Ava 3.0 did was it took the thing that I thought I wanted, which is, Shinji Ikari going a pair of balls.
So what you're saying is because you didn't understand the original series, 3.0 made you realize how good it was. He can't even deny it.
No, because I do genuinely like the original series, but I think the rebuild films are trying to do something completely different to the original. It's no way it's going to be as deep or as character driven as the originals were. But for me, and this is my own personal anecdote, is that like I said, I went out of the original wanting Shinji to do something, grow a pair of balls, whatever, as I'm sure many people did, and
Which is wrong. It's not the point of the show.
It might not be the point of the show, but that's why I'm saying the rebuilds did something entirely different.
It made you realize that if he did grow a pair of balls, it wouldn't be a good thing, is what you're saying.
If 2.0 was wish fulfillment, then 3.0 totally...
See, this is the argument I always hear about 3.0, but the problem is that if you did understand the original show and appreciated it already, and then you watch the movies, you're just like, well, this is stupid. Like, I already got the point. Why the fuck are you making me, like, why are you trying to beat me over the head with it, with a bunch of edgy, violent shit and, like, this crappy CG? I hate that fucking movie so much. There was nothing. I sat there, I watched the movie like this, like, what are you doing to my Evangelion? Why are you doing this?
But then I'd argue that that's because you are too attached to the original show to see what the rebuilds were trying to achieve, which is something totally different.
3.0 is like a giant exposition dump for 45 minutes and then a giant fight for 45 minutes. That's the whole movie. He's nodding. He agrees.
I'm not nodding. I'm just looking between you two and happen to be looking up and down the stage.
I mean, I'm not...
You're just trying to get a look. I'm impartial. I swear.
Someone on my side.
I mean, like, what I'm saying, I'm not saying it was the best film ever, but I'm saying I enjoyed it, and it was not for the reason that I ended up enjoying the original. It was for a completely different reason. And I feel like a lot of people who hate on the rebuilds look at it like they want it to be the original. And I think that the rebuilds have a totally different appeal to them for what they're trying to achieve.
That's fair. Hashtag not my Ava. You got another one? Did you have any other planned, or should we keep going to the audience?
Well, we've got 5 minutes
we
left.
have 5 minutes, so let's go for...
Guy in the, what is that, hair? You know who you are. You. No, don't look back. It's
What do
you.
think is it
Yes,
gonna
you.
help?
What?
Blame the movie, Netflix.
Blame? I haven't seen that movie yet.
Oh, it's really good. Should watch it.
I heard it was terrible. That's why I didn't watch it.
It was meh.
Oh, okay, fine. Someone else's question.
What did you think of Knights of Sidonia?
I really like
I hated Knights of Sidonia. Waving something around back there in the Steven Universe shirt. Do we both agree on what? Someone else repeat what he said. But
The erased ending.
The erased ending?
Yeah.
What did you think of Erased?
I didn't like Erased, so
good.
we'll probably agree on that.
Good.
We will probably agree on that.
White shirt in the front, because I'll actually be able to hear you. What? He said, which one of you is shittier? Oh, you know what he said.
Yeah, he
Why would either of us point at ourselves?
Wait. I think we should... Who has shittier taste, audience?
Yeah, raise your hand if I have shittier taste. Raise your hand if he has shittier taste. Do people even know what our tastes are enough?
I think you've just lost. Why did you throw it to the audience? You knew
it didn't look like a huge difference to me. Maybe I can't see because I have sunglasses.
Eromanga-sensei's amazing, shut up.
My top 5 anime are K-On!, Ponyo, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, Psychopath, Hunter x Hunter 2011, and Shirobako. That's my top 5. I cancel when I said Psychopaths. That's number 6.
Are we doing a top 5 now?
Yeah.
Fuck. My top 5 changes all the time, but if I have to say on the top of my head, Your Name, Fate Zero.
God damn it! Now he's gonna win. I can tell just by your reaction.
Crap. Bakano. Wolf Children. Shit.
Ooh.
And Perfect Blue. Most of mine are movies. I just realized most of mine are movies.
All right, raise your hand if he has better taste. And raise your hand if I have better taste. It's like the same as it was before. The same people raise their hand. It's just my fans versus your fans. That's all that is.
we
don't care what our favorite anime are.
We've got less than a minute left. Do we want some closing words?
We got 2 minutes.
So,
what should we have one more question?
One more really quick
that
question.
guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Who is best girl? In?
Senjigahara from the Monogatari series.
What did he say?
Easy.
Oh, Senjagahara. That's the fucking pleb answer. I'm gonna go with Sana Kurata from Kodocha, a show that no one's seen. But it's a 10-year-old girl who's got a lot of energy and she works really hard and she's really good. She's a really good girl. And she's best girl. I have no sexual feelings towards her.
You dissed Eromanga-sensei and you pull out this shit.
It's an actual shoujo anime. It's for little girls.
And so,
And me.
as we wait for the police to arrive, it is time to wrap this up. Can you please give a huge round of applause for both Gigguk and DIGIBRO?
If you see us, buy us beer.
We'll be at the bar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.